So we're going to be talking about.
Here, I'll hold it up on
No,
the
it's
front.
okay. Okay.
It's going to get lower.
The middle season 4, is it? And I'm now that we're watching more of it, I always end up getting into things the more I watch it, even if it's not that good, and it's not that good a series. But they are trying to make it more relatable to most people, so these families are seriously flawed. The neighbors actually seem to have it pretty much together. So, like her friend, Frankie's friend, who lives next door, she's more a mother type than Frankie is. Frankie's a neg, and she's a yellow, and she does not do a very good job as a parent. But
there's
whatever,
way worse.
You know, yeah, exactly. There's way
not
worse
abusive,
out there.
She's just incompetent, right?
Yeah. And the kids have problems.
And she tries.
Yes, exactly. And then people can't help it. How, you know, you end up however you've been raised to be, and that's that, right? You do your best with what you have. And so anyway, there are some funny things in the show.
Yeah.
Like the mother and father were talking about the one kids vomiting, and how they had neither one of them had cleaned it up, and they were like, we need a dog, you know, because they wanted the dog to eat it rather than have to clean up kid vomit. And there was Dave Foley's in it. He's the therapist, the school therapist, and he even referenced the kids in the hall. But I don't think the writer of the middle or writers watched the kids in the hall, because they had the boy responding by saying something about them. It was something like, is that the show where they punch each other in the privates all the time, or something like that? And it's like, I don't remember that ever happening. It might have happened, but not all the time. Anyway, the kids in the hall is worth watching way more than the middle, and I don't think the writers watched it, but that's too bad. It's, you know, it's at least with the middle, I can say for it that they are hiring some decent actors to come into the show every now and then, like Dave Foley. They're giving him a job, so yay. So yay for the middle, because Dave Foley is now, you know, being seen by the public again, at least in a small role, and maybe he'll get out there in a bigger role.
Yeah, it's too bad that they busted up, really.
And also the mother from Malcolm in the Middle, which I had hoped this would be a follow-up to that, but she was in this. And the young blonde guy from 30 Rock.
Oh, that guy's hilarious.
He's in this too. So they are hiring some decent people, and I mean, like James says, he sort of likes the daughter, and
yeah, there's a lot of girls out there, you know.
Relate a little bit to the young boy who has serious problems, but he reads, right?
Yeah.
Even though he's not a believable character, like James said, because he's the youngest child, and somehow he's a reader. And usually that's
studious by comparison with their elder siblings. So,
Anyway, so the middle season 4, I enjoyed it more than the last couple I watched. I'll talk about this one last, I think.
Oh, okay.
Because that one's the one I want to talk about a lot.
Okay,
Ad Astra.
Ad Astra to the stars. Is it?
I don't know. I don't know what they're referring to there.
Ad means
but
two.
I found it boring.
I kind of liked it because it was.
I could see they were trying to make something important, and they were trying to make it believable, like the chase scene on the moon. You're thinking, maybe that's how the vehicles would react, or how whatever, right?
Because they had them kind of. I was saying before it really started going, they're going to have trouble braking, and going to have not so much braking, but actually having the wheel stop, and they're going to be slipping and sliding because there'd be less friction there on the moon. So they had that kind of stuff going.
I don't know why you don't like Baba Ganoush. It's so good.
I like it okay. It didn't feel like it. Feeling a bit sick. So. But yeah, it struck me as though they were trying to follow up maybe a little bit on, not in story, but in terms of approach, follow up a little bit on 2001 Space Odyssey. I did like that movie quite a bit, and 2010 or whatever it was they just kind of phoned that in, the writers and maybe the actors to a certain extent. So that one really does not come right. But this one, yeah, I wish I hadn't fallen asleep. It might have been to a certain extent the fact that it definitely wasn't a car chase kind of shoot 'em up type of thing. So, but I just fall asleep a lot. I finished eating, and that's what tends to happen. So I wouldn't judge it by that. Brad Pitt usually does a pretty good job. He's not the best actor out there, not the best looking either anymore. But I don't think I've ever seen him put a dog performance. You've actually seen a dog.
So anyway,
Here we go.
now this
She's
is
saving, I think, the best of the
so
last.
good.
Yeah, there we go.
Joker. My gosh, that was good.
This is maybe the best Joaquin, what is his last name? Joaquin Phoenix. Yeah, Joaquin has done, and he's done some good stuff. He did Johnny Cash, didn't he?
I don't remember.
I think he played Johnny Cash, and
I think you're right.
he did a great job there. It's hard to do those kind of documentaries where you're playing someone. I was kind of raised on Johnny Cash. He wasn't my favorite or anything like that. There was the Johnny Cash show around 1970, and Johnny had some of my favorite rock and roll stars, including Derek and the Dominos, doing an old Chuck Willis song. I don't think they did Layla, but so Derek and the Dominos is Eric Clapton, and Neil Young, Linda Ronstadt. So Johnny's just kind of like iconic. He's almost like God or something like that. When he plays someone like that, people know the moves, they know the sound. But nothing like this.
No, this was incredible. I can't imagine any Batman movie being better. And how this works out, so I'm going to say right now it seems to be set in the 70s, but there was one thing that was unbelievable for me was he's this Joker is from a poor family. He and his mother just live in this crummy apartment together, and yet they have an answering machine. And honestly, I don't know if there were answering machines back then.
I think there were.
If there were, he wouldn't have.
Yeah, okay.
So but having said that, the movie was awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
And
these are the sorts of things that get missed. People did fist bumps back in the 70s.
Sure. Whatever.
Like people were doing, they weren't even doing high fives. You pulled out your hands. It wasn't down low, but it was here. And then around 72, then they started to do, hold out your hands like this. But not fist bumps. You see people do all sorts of stupid stuff. High fives back in the 60s when they're playing basketball. Do a little research, show a little bit of care. But, sorry, I interrupted. I know you were going to say it's just
absolutely great. So go and watch it right now. Borrow it from your local public library, and you will be just amazed. For the last, I don't know, most of the movie, there was absolute silence in the room. We were just fixated on the television.
There was no falling asleep for me on this one. If a movie keeps me awake, it's got to be either a real car crash of a movie or one of the best.
Yeah.
So
it was one of the best movies I've ever seen. And I don't like Batman. I always make fun of Batman because he's not really a superhero. But honestly, this was awesome. Now, having said that, that's my review before you watch it. And so just, if you haven't watched it yet, you need to turn off the whatever, and just go and watch the movie because I'm going to give away some stuff now about
Spoiler
the movie,
alert.
just to talk about it. So, you don't know in this movie what makes this movie so awesome is that you get the idea that along the way you're watching oh hello kids, and you notice that Joker has some serious mental problems, and a lot of the things that are happening in his life around him are not happening. It's all in his head. And so because of that, you don't even really know if the end of the movie happened at all. You don't know anything about this.
Anything about the movie.
No, you can't know. So,
here's
having
Elvis.
said that,
This is Elvis the Fourth. Sorry, go ahead.
maybe I just really like to believe that the whole thing happened, and this is like, because I want to see more and everything, whatever. I don't know, but I want to believe that he did turn into Joker and all of the things past the halfway part in the movie or whatever occurred, but having said that, it may not have. So, Batman may not be real. This may all be in Joker's mind. All the characters from Batman, Gotham City itself, everything in his mind, which is awesome because you know how I like the mental stuff. It trips me out. I like it.
So here's Angel, and she looks the part, don't you think?
She looks the part,
She looks
does not
angelic.
act the part.
Well, she has a little trouble with
She
it.
has some problems with the angelic action.
Yeah,
So,
keeping her
Anyway,
with her toilet
I made a pretty good meal today.
That's awesome.
I roasted potatoes and cauliflower and butternut squash, and I gave James some antipasto on the side. And I'm eating this turnip and parsnip dal alongside of it. Well, I haven't yet, but I will.
Elvis thinks, oh, look at Elvis beg for the camera. Hopefully you guys saw that at home. He's one of the best begging dogs I've ever seen.
It's very cute. He dances.
Yeah, he has his own peculiar way.
Oh, you want the food?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I guess we're going to have to wrap this up and feed these kids.
Let me just try to get Elvis on camera. I was
Because he's
explaining.
so handsome.
Here's Elvis the Fourth. There's Elvis Presley. Then there was Elvis Costello, and then Elvis Stoico, and now this is Elvis Bell.